Today, in the fourth day, we are having Dr. Anand Nayar. He is a senior and right retired. He received his PhD degree in computer science from his university in 2017 in the area of WSN, and he is currently working with school, Duquesne University, Danang. He is also a certified professional with more than 75 certificates from Cisco, Microsoft, Oracle, Google, Exim, Yambrom, and many more. He has published more than 300 research articles in various national and international conferences and international journals in Scopus, SCIE, SSCI, and more. He is also a member of more than 50 associations as a senior member and life member, and also acting as an ACM speaker. He has co-authored more than 25 books of computer science. He has associated with more than 400 international conferences as program committee, advisory committee, review board committee. He has two patents to his name in the area of IoT and speech processing. He is currently working in the area of WSN, managed swarm intelligence, cloud computing, IoT, blockchain, machine learning, deep learning, cybersecurity, network simulation, and wireless communications. He has awarded more than 20 awards for teaching and research, Young Scientist Award, Best Scientist Award, Young Researcher Award, Outstanding Researchers Award, Indo International Amazing Star Award, and a lot of many. He is acting as the editor-in-chief of IGI Global USA Journal titled International Journal of Smart Vehicles and Smart Transportation. So we are very excited to learn from you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Nayar to start his lesson. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Arun, sir, for inviting me. And I'm very thankful to the management as well as the activities of Gautam Buddha University to give me a chance to present my research topic on this 2 weeks research methodology based webinar. And as we all know that we all want to write research papers, but the main problem happens that our research paper is written well, but still it doesn't get passed into the publication stage. And that is the main harassment that many people faces, that we have written a good paper, we have gone through the comments also, but at the last stage, we are getting rejections. So this is the FDP, which I think that all the participants will be getting a great exposure, that how they can improve their research paper quality and how the methodology and how their style of improving the research paper can be a great thing. So I will be there with you today as well as on July 13. So I would like to inform all of you that in these 2 days, I will be opening up lots of secrets, lots of surprises for all of you in terms of the technical knowledge, that how to improve your skill writing, as well as how the common mistakes or the mistakes that we, according to me, there are there, but many people don't think about those mistakes that can be avoided. So the main thing that we have to study today, so let me tell you first of all the agenda for today, and then I will be discussing the agenda for July 13. So agenda for today will be, that is the number one, that I will be discussing that how to go for the grant-based proposals and what mistakes we are doing, what mistakes actually we do in order to fill the grant-based project, and how we can remove those mistakes from our career. So the second thing that I will be discussing, that how to actually read the research paper, because many PhD students, they start reading the paper, they go on completely reading the paper. It is not there. In order to make a particular research paper to come to you, as well as you can make this as a base for literature review, it is very important for you to understand that reading the research paper is even requiring a lots of art and as a skill in order to make it okay, that whether this paper can be a part of your curriculum or whether it cannot be the part of your curriculum. And the third thing that we will be discussing today, that will be the most important, that is called literature review. I will be focusing on literature review, that how we actually make the literature review and what common mistakes, especially that ETL mistake that we make. And most of the people don't know what type of tenses they have to follow in order to make the literature review. So I have made some document, and for that you will be getting that information. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the session. And I hope that this session will be a fruitful for all of you, especially for those who are applying for the grants, especially for those who have started the PhD or they're actually doing their thesis work. So on July 13, I will be mostly focusing on tools of research methodology, as well as I will be telling you in detail how to write a research paper, and what common mistakes we have to avoid. Along with that, my tips for acceptance, in which I will be covering everything. So we have lots of things to be discussed. So let's start the lecture with this thing. Arun sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, sir. You please start your presentation.
No, can you see my presentation?
Just a minute. No, yet.
Are you able to see my presentation, sir?
No.
Sir, your voice is breaking, please.
Yes, sir. It's visible. Please start, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arun Solanki, for being with me. And I hope that because of your technical consent and along with your support, I will be organizing a very good webinar for the next 1.5 hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us talk with some of the most important fundamentals of grant writing. And let me tell you, grant writing is more than specifying some of the questions on which we don't stress. And let me tell you, we are making some of the common mistakes that, according to me, we are making, and we are actually losing the grant. So getting the grant is not a typical concept. It is just basically a sense of observation and a sense of meaningfulness that we have to make, and we have to answer a certain areas of question in order to make that grant work for you. Okay. So let us talk with the lecture today that will be on fundamentals of grant writing. Now let us talk with the first important thing: why we apply for the grant. Now, grants enable you to affect the change, which means that suppose you want to bring a revolutionary change in your institute by adding some funding, by adding some project, or to find some solutions to the problem, or you want to hire some UGC JRF candidate. So that is what we can say, that it requires a change, and you want a change in your institute. You have to build a community capacity. You want pure MOUs. You want strong collaborations with international and national and even with industry experts. You want to purchase things for your commodity. You want to create opportunities for people. So do what do you need to do. So the main thing is that the grant gives you many things, but the only thing is that you have to be very careful when you are actually applying the grant, so that you should be able to get that grant rather than to face the rejection. And let me tell you, with my experience, I'm going to tell you that out of, if you say of mathematics, if 10 grants are being applied to the government by various institutions, I'm not considering IIT as a part of the grant application, because most of the projects of the India are with IIT, but I'm talking of general ways. So out of the 10 people, only 2 or maximum 3 people, if they are lucky, they make through to the grant approval. So how we have to improve our grant standards, what are the mistakes that we have to avoid, and how to write the grant proposal, this we will be discussing. So please listen to me very carefully. So why the grant writing is so important? So let me tell you, these are the 6 main questions that you have to answer: who, what, where, why, when, and how. These are the 6 questions that you have to actually answer, and this is basically lays the foundation that whether your grant project is okay or whether your grant proposal is not okay from the side of the examinee. So good grant application should clearly state, you can see who will be benefited. So the most important answer will be your society, because you are actually taking the grant in order to solve a real-time problem. So please make it sure that your grant project should be either into some scientific advancements with regard to the common man. Like, okay, you are taking a project of robot, so how that robot can be beneficial to the real time. What is going to happen, how you are able to make that robot, how you are going to make that project happen, where it is going to happen, in your institute, or whether you will have a lab, or whether you will do some collaboration that, okay sir, my university is collaborated with some US university or some Chinese university or some Malaysian university. Half of the project will be done there and half of the project will be done here. Why does it need to happen, when it is going to happen, and most of all, how it is going to happen and how much it will cost. So you should clearly state that what exactly are these questions: who, what, why, when, and how. So if you are not able to answer these questions, let me tell you, your grant proposal will never be through. So see this, everybody, why this grant program? There are hundreds of grants out there. There are hundreds of grants. So many people say, sir, can we apply for DST? Can we apply for DRDO? Yes, you all can apply, but you have to see that whether your organization is eligible for that or not, because some of the grants that DST applies is only for the government institutions, sometimes for autonomous institutions. So all these type of things. So there is some variation in the grants, but if you're on the right track, you can get the grant. So even if your Indian government is not going for the grant, there is no problem. Like we have Indo-Japanese grant, we have the Indo-Vietnam grant, Indo-USA grant. So you can even apply for those type of grants, depending that you have some good collaborations with some good universities across the world. So you should show the funding body. This is important, that why your grant is perfect, why your project is perfect for the grant program. You should defend him, because he is the person who is actually going to give you the money. Suppose if I am the bank and you come to me that, okay, sir, this is my file, I want to open a startup company. You should have to convince me that why this startup is going to boom, because I am there to invest the money in yours. So which means if your startup fails, you will not fail. My money and my reputation will also fail. So you should apply. So you should defend with the grant providing body that this project is perfect. It should not say it is good, it should be perfect. And second, you know who are you talking to and what other projects the grant provider has funded. So this is important, everybody. So you should have a background history. You should clearly do the research that, okay, sir, whether this project is actually happening or not happening. So keep a close call on all the websites that what grants are being allocated, what project is being selected, why the project was selected. So please do some homework in a proper sense, then make the grant project. So grant providers need to give your grant out if you write a great application that meets the aim and objective of that program. Very important. What is your aim? What is your objective? So aim stands for that you want to design a particular robot. Now, what is your objective? Okay, how you will design, how the robot will come out, what are the other features that you will add. So objectives means what you can say, what you are exactly going to do in order to determine your goal. So remember, everybody, list of combined objectives is regarded as your aim. Okay, so you can say that your goal of the thesis is to, or your goal of the research paper is to design a routing protocol. So how you will attain that objective, how you will attain, what optimality you will do, that are your objectives. Okay, so and let me tell you, there is a lot of competition for most of the grant projects. And honestly speaking, please have some honest feedback. And at least from those people who are actually doing the project. Even many people give me their project reports that, okay, sir, can you check our project proposals? And let me tell you, sometimes even the language and grammar is so laggy that I'm not able to understand what you want to say. So language and your readability and your flow of writing the grant proposal, that is very important for you to understand. Otherwise, if suppose I'm reading the grant proposal, if I'm not able to understand, even though your project is good, how I'm able to be convinced that you can do that project or not? So your flow, your English, your readability, these are the most important aspects that are to be taken care of. So see this, everybody, this is important. Now I will be telling you a complete secret that actually why your grant can be easy to be accepted and why your grant becomes difficult to be accepted. Now see this, everybody, most of the thing, as we are management students, even we have studied some computer management over there or management economics over there. So the first goal of any management or any company or even your grant is to do the planning. So if your planning is not perfect, if your team is not perfect, and if your resources and your objectives are not perfect, let me tell you, your answers are not perfect. And if your answers are not perfect, nobody can give you the grant. So see this, everybody, I have already told you there are 6 questions to be answered in grant. So note it down: what, why, who, and how. So these are the questions which you are actually going to solve from your end. These are the questions that you actually have to think that we have to convince by these questions to the grant provider. And let me tell you, if the grant provider wants to know, you will satisfy them in terms of when and where. So all these 6 questions should be properly determined, but the grant provider is only towards when and where. So if you are not convincing him in this when and where on the basis of what, why, how, and who, let me tell you, even though your grant project could be novel, but I am not able to understand, which means I'm going to lose the grant. So the grant writing proposal is just a tricky manner. Okay. So see this, everybody, don't be scared. First of all, don't be scared. The government jargon should be made simple. Words like output. So most important is the common words: output, outcome and objective. So what will be the objective? So what is the output? Okay, sir, I will make a robot. What will be the outcomes? That, okay, sir, after making this robot, I will improve the real-time scenarios like this. Okay, sir, this robot will help the pedestrians to cross the road. It will monitor the road traffic. So what are the objectives? How you will make that robot? So let me tell you, these words are commonly asked by the grant providers. They should be convinced that this project is a hit project. So you should understand output, outcome, and objective. These three should be answered in a proper manner. And only use jargon if you can understand the means, otherwise apply in a correct context. So if you're okay that, okay, sir, I'm able to understand the typical word, then you can use, but otherwise we always say use a simple words in order to make them convinced that your grant is a perfect project. Now see this, everybody, what are the objectives? Now again, I'm explaining you what is the problem you want to overcome. Now let me tell you, if you go over there that, okay, sir, I want to make a wheelchair, an autonomous wheelchair that can detect the object collisions, that can be controlled autonomously with a voice. That is your objective. Okay, sir, what will be done? How the money will be spent on? Okay, sir, what is the goals that we will design? Okay, sir, I will do these type of sensors. I have to do this type of robotic capabilities, this type of machine learning capabilities, and what will be the outcome in terms of results? So your project should be specific, measurable, and it should be realistic. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are doing just a simple project that, okay, sir, we will go for some like analysis or other things, these type of projects are having very little goal that can be accepted. So make some real-time project. And these days, IoT, blockchain, drones, smart cities, even robotic process automation, you can say your improvement towards satellites, nanotechnology. So all these type of projects are having a high potential in order to be accepted. So even you can say that lots of governments are even opening the projects that how you can go for early detection of these type of disease with the aid of artificial intelligence. So because as we all know that the world is towards a pandemic right now. So if you're using some deep learning or AI based projects in healthcare, that I think so is right now it's a high time that you can make those projects, because right now artificial intelligence in healthcare is the priority agenda for whole of the world. So what is the planning process? I'm going to define you. Step number 1, define the project. What is your project? Second, identify the need. Go in the market, understand the scenarios, whether it is required or whether it is not required, whether what options are available. If you are making another option, which means your option should be better than the existing ones. You should convince them. Who are the people? Very important. Your team should be very strong. If your team is just like, okay, sir, I will hire this person, I will hire that person, I can take industry consultancy. No, your team should be core team. Define the process, how and when, how you will manage and how you will do the coordination of the project. And last but not the least, where, add meaning to the place where the project can be applied. So if you're going for these 5 steps, everybody, let me tell you that getting the grant, even though it is typical project and cumbersome project, but still the project will become somewhat low. You can say somewhat easy. So know your project, everybody. What is the scope of the project? What is going to happen? What is the outcome? What robot you are going to design? What wheelchair you are going to design? Okay, sir, we will design some, you can say some drone that can do some, you can say analysis and people detection even in the matter of harsh environments. So that can be a good area to research. What will be what the project will produce? Okay, sir, I will have a cluster of drones. That drone will have the better AI based capabilities. What the project will contribute to the community, how it will be benefit to the common man, and what is the purpose. So give a bigger picture. And let me tell you, everybody, if you're giving the picture in terms of common man, in terms of real-time implementation, this is a great chance that actually you are defining the project and you are convincing him. So that is called your what. So what are the risks? And this is again with the what are the risks associated? Okay, sir, financial reasons, sometimes the social reasons. Is there anything that you can go for the project? You can prevent the project to coming to fruition? What are the limitation factor? Okay, sir, maybe we can get some limited technology. Okay, sir, some programming capabilities can find. We need more time for testing, all these type of things. And what are the risk migration strategies? So all these questions have to be managed under what. So the what is the main thing that actually the grant provider will read in order to make him convinced that yes, you are the team that is comfortable and capable to handle this project. So in this what, you should make him motivated that yes, I am the best person and I can handle this project in a successful manner. You have to market yourself. So why? Identify the need. What are the current limitation? Identify the market. Okay, sir, these are the issues which are going in the society. Why? You can see that these days, even when we have lots of tsunamis, we have lots of floods, but how we will monitor the city? We need drones. We need other medical facilities. We require other type of things. So these type of things are required to be done as a real-time problem solutions. What is the evidence? What are the benefits that can be achieved? And most important, is your organization best placed to to address the challenge? And I would like to highlight this thing very important. And let me tell you, face the fact, everybody. Many people say we have a private college, we have a private university, let's apply for the fund. But without thinking that whether do you have so much of PhDs, whether do you have right now some base part of the research lab? If you don't have anything in you, how can I convince that, okay, sir, I'm ready to invest? Even Mark Zuckerberg has to design a Facebook prototype, and he has to come up with that angel investor with at least 2,000 or maybe 7,000 minimum user. Only then that angel investor was able to give, okay, sir, I'm interested to fund your project. So you must have the proper evidence, and you should even support that your organization is ready, that they are capable enough that you can do the project. So who identify the people? This is most important. What are the key drivers? Who is the project for, and who are the beneficiaries? Identify that, okay, sir, if I'm working on the handicap, okay, sir, one handicap person is a part of the team. He will be the tester. Okay, sir, if we are going for some road-based security, we are taking the help of the policeman. We are taking the help of road safety securities. So these type of people should be the part. Who are the major stakeholders and partners? MOUs. And let me tell you, everybody, many people say that let's have some MOU. And after that, I have seen MOU is just like this type of paper, just this paper, like this, a A4 size paper. So MOU, this is done in order to have some collaboration, that, okay, sir, one professor is having a lab and he is having some postdoc student. Now you are taking some collaboration and you are putting his team and him as a part of the stakeholder as well as a partner for the project. So getting ready for the project, everybody, don't think that it is easy. You have to get yourself ready. Is anyone else in the community that can support you? Can you strengthen the application by partnering? Who will manage the project, and who are your staff and volunteers? So you must hire the people first. Your accurate team should be the main thing. Otherwise, let me tell you, if you are not hiring the people correctly at the right position with proper MOUs and proper backend support, you will be stunned to know that even though you have a novel project, your project will be cancelled. And I'm saying openly, if any of these 6 questions, I'm again saying, even if you are lagging in any one question, what, where, who, and why, whatever it is, you are actually making the grant provider to actually reject your proposal. He must be attractive. And if he is facing even one lag, because applications are many, it's a cutthroat competition, he can go ahead. So everything should be perfect. That's why I'm saying perfect. Now define the process. So how it will be implemented, how it will be operated, any special skills that you require, who will be accountable for the project, and how you will say that whether the project is actually being implemented or not. So what is your testing process? How you will check the process? How you will actually define that this is the project that, okay, sir, I was thinking for, and now it has been successfully implemented. And how much? This is important. So how much the project will cost, and please add at least 5 to 10% extra, so that if there is any, you can say, contingency expenses or deficiencies that can be met up. How much cash is available, how much funding is needed, and what is the overthought of anything like, okay, add-on cost, some GRF wages, or some going abroad for some consultancy, taking one person that, okay, sir, I'm collaborate with you, please come from Vietnam to my institute for some collaboration or some, you can say, consultancy, help us for this project model, like this thing. So what are the cost related? So whether it is too high or too low. So start with a project. Let me tell you, many people ask me that, sir, where we should start? We don't have any experience. So start with a simple project up to 5 lakhs. Yes, it is 5 lakhs. It is good. But more and more you get experience, and it is no matter, everybody. Even if you're playing the games with 5 lakh projects, it is okay. You can go with minor project. Even though you're having minor projects, there is no problem. But major project, it requires lots of things to be understood. Your experience, your technical expertise, your infrastructure, everything matters. So when do you need the money? How the project will value the grant project, and the most important, how the funds will be managed. Okay, sir, this much is for going to conferences. This much is for the JRF fellow. This much is for equipments. This much is for testing. This much is for real-time implementation. Okay, sir. So think everything, because let me tell you, the small idea can become a grant, but in order to answer these type of questions, it's a tiring process. Yes, everybody, it's a tiring process. So when the most important, when the project will start and when it will finish. So minimum, you can say if you're taking a minor project these days, it can be 8 to 14 months. But if you're taking a major project, 2 to 5 years, that can be done. In Vietnam, we have Novstat. So Novstat project ranges from 1 year to 5 years. Even it can range from 3 years to 7 years. That depends on that. So any seasonal issues, how long the project will take to complete, and if there is any special skills that are required. So these skills actually estimate what will be the time frame for the project. So you must you must make this type of, I will be showing you the Gantt chart, that you must write when the objectives will be done, how much it will be done, when this project will be completed. So you must have a clear picture over there. And where, most important, whether it will be your university or whether you are collaborated with other labs. So this is where everybody, many people ask me, what is the main use of MOU? Always people say, okay, sir, faculty exchange, student exchange. No, that is a part, that is okay. But most of all, you must have the project funding as a primary issue. The first aspect for anything should be your project fundings. That, okay, sir, if we get for a project funding, we will have the joint collaboration between your university and our university in terms of technical skills, you can say exchange. So that nobody thinks. And sometimes this is the main thing, that even though you have MOUs, but you don't have a MOU. So most important is, when applying for the grants, think, again, I'm saying you, remember to think in the shoes of grant provider. Who is going to provide you the grant? After all, he is going to give you the money. I should be convinced, because I have the money. Now, let me tell you, even you have seen lots of programs in Discovery when people go for startups and other things, and only you can say 10 or I can say 50 out of 3 or 4 or maybe 2 or 3, they are through. Because grant provider has the money and he is very, very choosy. So what is the priority? How the project fits your priorities? What are the examples of the projects? How your project will stand better than the others? What is the amount you are asking? Tailor your needs. And most of all, you can say your application is not all about you. It is about your grant provider. Remember my quotations, everybody. It is not about you, that, okay, sir, I'm from this university, I am applying for Indo-Vietnam project or Indo-Korea project. It is not about you. It is about the grant provider. He should be convinced. So think in the shoes of grant provider, that if I get this file, whether I'm able to pass this file, okay, sir, I'm interested, let's start. What do you want? So if you're giving him something better or real time, I'm interested. So you have to make the project as a potential part in order to get the grants. So who provide the grants? You can see that in India, because most of the people say that, sir, DST, AICT, CSIO, these people provide, but there are even industries like Microsoft, Google, Oracle, and even you can even apply for Tata Motors. They are also interested. Even organizations also give the fundings. For international, we have National Science Fund, Newton Fund, because Vietnam is collaborated with UK more. So we have the Newton Fund here. So we also organize conferences. We can take tons of money from there. So we have the NSF from Korea. So lots of funding is available, but the main thing is you must choose the right grant provider, and you must study him, that what he has financed, what he is interested to finance, and what is actually happening, and how the grant provider will be able to successfully see my application. So think in the, again, I'm saying your application should not be all about you. It should be about the grant provider. So not successful, it can be disappointing, everybody, because most of the reasons I have already seen, that people return from the grant application with disappointment rather than from happiness. So the question is, even if your application is not successful, the program can accept your revised application. It is not like a research paper. Okay, sir, my one journal has rejected the paper. Now that journal will not accept that paper. It's a rule in SCI. If your paper gets rejected in one paper, most of the journals, they don't allow you to resubmit the paper, even though you have made the modifications as per the reviewers. But in terms of grant, it is fully okay. You can apply re, unless you can have the grant. Let me tell you, when I applied for the grant, my application was rejected 3 times. My application got accepted after the 4th time. Even in my PhD, I applied for the grant with 2 organizations, both of them rejected. But a Bangalore-based company, they gave me 3 lakh rupees, and even with a sensor kit. And after that, I did my PhD under grant itself. So even under my PhD, I completed 1 project of 1 lakh rupees and 2 projects of 2 lakh rupees. Even under my PhD, I completed that. So keep an eye on the suitable programs. Ask yourself right questions, and please make good partners. And please, let me tell you, everybody, it's no shame that I'm saying, please make a good mentor, at least with those people who have the grants, and at least those who have the experience that, yes, we have done the grant project, now we are ready for the grant projects. So the most important thing, the question is for you. Are you the best person or organization for delivering? So that is why I've told you that if your organization has no MOU, no infrastructure, no proper proposal, no proper foundation, how can I be able to succeed your grant project? I'm sorry, I'm not convinced. Are the people already doing this? So it is better that if you're starting a project, make or you can say collaborate with some person who is actually having the grant, because his experience will help you out. Is the focus narrow or broad? Make it somewhat not narrow, even not broad, even it should be in the middle. That, okay, sir, features are there, but these capabilities and these applications and the outcomes will be infinite. You have to convince him that, okay, sir, we have come for 3, but in the near future, if you fund us more, I can make infinite possibilities. How have you involved the right people? This is most important, everybody. And have you got any support from the community? And was your application clear enough? So these are the basic instances. So getting the grant is just to answer the 6 questions and how to do that. So that's what I have for this presentation. And now I'm going towards my second presentation. Actually, this is what I would like to share with all of you, where actually people make mistakes. Now, let me tell you, now we will go towards our part B, how to read a research paper. Now, everybody will ask me, sir, is it necessary? We all read a paper. What is the creativity in that? No, we all read the paper, but actually we read the paper in wrong approach. Yes, we read in a wrong approach. And today I'm going to give you an approach that how to actually read the paper, whether you are an MTech student who is doing his thesis, whether you are a PhD student who is starting the thesis, or your guide has told, okay, sir, start reading the papers, because guide always tell you the first thing with the guide is start reading the papers. So the question is, even if you're making, like, if you're a professional like me, that, okay, sir, I'm doing autonomous research, so we want to make a new paper, so how we collect the papers? But the question is, there are many papers, but how to read the actual paper? So I'm going to tell you in a very simple sense, and actually this is the approach. And this is the approach actually invented by me. And if you follow this approach, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you will be able to ask yourself that actually we were doing in the wrong direction. And now we got the direction how to actually read the paper. Now, in this agenda, we will be discussing, the first thing is introduction, purpose of reading the paper. And this is the approach, everybody, that is called the 3-pass approach. Yes, everybody, I just want to inform you first that if any person who reads the complete paper at the first stage, he is getting into depression. And he is actually giving him demotivation that, oh my God, I have to read so many papers. Okay, so reading the paper itself is an art, and it's a proper, you can say, system, and it's a proper methodology in order to do. So today I'm going to split this methodology into 3-pass approach. And after that, you will be surprised to know that you will even to classify that most of the papers that you have classified for your MTech or PhD, maybe you will think again that whether these papers are actually for us or not. So understand this one. And after that, I will go for some book recommendation and conclusions. Now, the introduction. Now, you all agree with me that if you are a PhD student or whether you are an MTech student, so most of the guides will always tell you that, okay, student, please start reading the paper and download some of the papers from SCA journals, Cooper's journals, and start reading them. What to read, how to read, this nobody is told. So let me tell you, selecting the appropriate paper, because suppose if you come to me that, sir, I want to do PhD with you and we want to make some IoT product for healthcare. Now, let me tell you, even if you search IoT in healthcare, in Google Scholar only, you will be getting more than 700 pages. And on every page, you will be getting 10 to 15 papers, which means almost you will get you can say 7,000 to 8,000 papers today. But out of that 7,000, which papers are of your use, which paper you should use? That is a typical question. Okay, so that is a skill I'm saying, everybody, that this skill is rarely taught, leading to much wasted effort. And even let me tell you, even I'm saying it very openly. Some people even ask me that, sir, we have started our PhD 2 years back, but still we are searching, we are struggling, we are getting harassments. What we should do? And even there was one boy who called me about 7-8 months back, and he discussed one problem with me. And he told me that, sir, I'm doing the thesis on NS2. And I asked him straight away that who is your guide? And he said me this person. And I told that maybe your guide is a foolish, or maybe you are a duffer, that you are doing the research like this. And after 16 to 20 minutes, he came to know that actually he was using the wrong simulator. His research was not into NS2. His research is required for Omnet++ simulator. So that's why he was able to know that, sir, now I came to know that why I was not getting those options. And that's why I'm asking you, everybody, that reading a research paper and getting a literature, it is a very artistry thing, and that will lead to a proper utilization of time. So see this, everybody, the purpose of reading the paper. Researchers read the papers for following reasons. These are the most important reasons. Whether you want to write a research paper, whether you are presenting the paper in a conference, okay, sir, I want to start a conference paper. And this is very important for all the guides and the students right now. Even if you are doing your MTech or your PhD, or whether you are a good researcher, at least I'm saying, everybody, in a year, at least write 3 to 4 papers, or at least 1 to 2 papers in a conference. Because once you go for presentation, you will have your skills, that how you can get confidence, how you will present your research paper, synopsis, or even your thesis also. So have a practical exposure, and conference means collaboration. So please find some good conference of your domain and then go there, meet with the experts and present the paper in front of them. You will get very good critical feedback that can be helpful for you. So the most important is publication and update from current trends. Even I today read the paper, not only to write some papers, but also to make it sure that what is happening in the real time. Okay, so this can be your hobby, like a book, that because today there was a time when I used to read a book, but book, as you all know, that not every book can cover deep concepts. But these days, if I want to get aware of some topic like blockchain, etc., you will be stunned to know, everybody, that most of the conceptual methodologies of my blockchain as a researcher is cleared not from any book, but from the research papers. I have read less books, but now I'm reading research papers to get more and more knowledge. Go for review papers so that you can have more knowledge for that. Now see this, everybody, this is important. Now how you should read the paper. Now suppose this is your paper, and your guide tell you that, okay, sir, this is your paper, read this paper. Now what you will do, you will start reading from abstract, title, introduction, and after that you will able to come to your guide, sir, I have read many papers, but I'm not able to understand anything. Because why you are not able to understand? Because you are actually going in the wrong direction. Okay, so let me tell you what to do in first pass, second pass, and third pass. You can take any paper and note it down. What you should read in the first pass, paper should be compiled in different chunks. First chunk contains different headings. Second chunk contains different headings. And if the paper qualifies with second chunk, then you should go for the third pass. Otherwise, retract that paper that, okay, sir, this paper is not of any use for me. Okay, now see this. Now the first pass. First pass means you just get an idea about the paper, that what is the paper and what the person is actually talking about. So this pass should only take 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes you should give the paper. Should just clearly read the title, the abstract, and introduction. And now you will able to understand. After this presentation, many people ask me that, sir, we have published a paper in transaction, we have published a paper in 7 impact factor, but still our paper is not getting citations. My God, because why? Because some of the critical components of your paper are missing, and a researcher is struggling with your paper, and after that he has thrown your paper away. Sir, this paper is not able to understand. Okay, throw it. So I will be telling you these things in the second day of my presentation on July 13, that what exactly to write in a research paper. Please understand that day how we should write the research paper in a proper structure. I will be giving you the detailed understanding. So see this, everybody, in the first pass. Now this means that you have just downloaded a paper from Google Scholar. I will be telling you some search engine also, rather than to use Google Scholar on second day. Suppose you have taken Google Scholar and you have downloaded this paper, that a review of blockchain issues, challenges, and applications. Consider this paper. Okay. Now, in the first pass, don't read whole of the paper. No, don't. You have downloaded 30 papers. Okay, it's okay. But every paper should not be taking 10 minutes. Now, in the first phase, just read the title, just read the abstract and introduction. That's all. These are the 3 main sections that you should read. Don't touch and don't read. Don't dare not, I'm saying, read any other section. Read the subsections, Just section, what is the title, that okay sir, B part is preliminary study, section C is this topic, section D is this topic. This is what we have to read. Subsections, just the headings. Don't read anything else except title, abstract, and introduction. After that, read the section. What is the subsection? Okay sir, part 2 is literature view, part 3 is this, part 4 is this, and these are the subheadings. And read the conclusion. And let me tell you, if you really want to read a research paper and you want to draft a good literature review, if you have read abstract and even your conclusion, that can be a great importance for you, that what is actually the paper conveying, and you can side by side make the literature review. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when your guide tells you to actually start reading the paper, he is actually telling you to start making chapter number 2, that is called literature review, so that you can take this as a foundation in order to make your own work, so that you can understand what is being done, what is the problems in the existing work, and what can be done by your side. That can be better than the existing works. So glance over the references and just take the important ones, that okay, these are the important references I find. So this is the stage 1, everybody. Don't dare to read any other stage. Now, once it is there, you can define the 5 C's. Now, after this abstract, introduction, conclusion, and title, you can define whether it's a measurement paper, whether it's an analysis paper or experiment paper, or whether you can describe what is the prototype. And side by side, you can even define what other papers are related to and what is the theoretical base, what is exactly going on. And please start from the latest review. I will be showing you on July 13 that how to actually crawl the papers and how to actually use the Google Scholar and other search engines. I will be telling you. So start from the latest one, like 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, and please don't go back less than 6 years. Because less than 6 years means that you are actually making me, as a reviewer, making me think that this is an old literature, maybe advanced work has already happened. So in the correctness, you must find the assumptions that need to be valid. That, okay, sir, this is okay, this is not okay. And contributions. What are the contributions? That's why I'm saying you, everybody, please note it down. When you are writing an introduction, please note it down today. Before you write organization of the paper, please write what are the objectives of the paper. Okay, sir, my objective is to find the analysis or to work into this problem of this application and to find the solution for this. Then what you're going to propose. And the third, how you will test your proposed solution. These are the 3 main objectives. And after that, you can add that, okay, sir, after this, we will compare with this thing. And that is your research paper. That is actually your thesis. First topic is to highlight what is the problem and why and how you're going to solve it. Second, what is the methodology you will follow? Experimentation and comparisons. These are the 4 main objectives that a people should follow. And let me tell you, this means that you're actually reading the paper. So that's why with the introduction only, you can find that, okay, sir, now I have 200 papers, but after reading the first pass approach, I only came to know that only 30 papers I have to read. With the second pass, it doesn't mean that they are going to become the literature review for you. They have to go for second pass, then the third pass. Okay, everybody. So make it sure. Now paper reading will be a hobby for all of you. Read it in a proper manner. So the first pass is adequate. Just that you just prove that whether it is relevant or not. And this is important, everybody, because with first pass, many people ask me, sir, our English is not is having a problem, literature is having a problem. Sometimes I don't know the grammar, but with this good papers, you can even improve your English. Because introduction, abstract, and conclusion, these are the most easy parts. Yeah, English is very simple over there. And more you read that, you are learning more and improving your English also. And many people say, okay, sir, your English is not good. Go for English speaking course. I openly say, start reading English magazines, start reading many things, start reading many journals. Once you are reading the good journals, good magazines, because the language is easy, better vocabulary and better flourishness, you can able to see that. So the second pass, everybody. Now this is important. And now I'm going to tell you the second major mistake that people do. Now, what is the mistake, everybody? That many people do. I openly say, everybody, that these days, before that, I'm saying openly, whenever I check the papers, sometimes I find that I should not to give the major revision, I should reject the paper. I should try to reject the paper. Because most of the people, what they do, okay, sir, put the graphs. Graphs are there, it is okay. I remember, it is okay that you are putting the experimental paper, graphs are in front of me, it is okay. What data is there? What analysis you have done? Just experimental result. Okay, sir, these are the parameters. This is the parameter, and now this is the graph. What is the data? What is the assumption? What is the analysis? You have done nothing. So that's the reason, everybody, that these days, because now you can see that JCR has gone down of many journals. Now we are taking this type of thing as a very serious thing, and we are rejecting the papers. So now the second thing is, which is important, now you can see what are the figures, the diagrams, illustrations, and please pay a special attention to the graphs along with the data. This is the second pass. That, okay, sir, now the paper has passed the first stage. This is okay. Now I will read my figures, the diagrams, and the data. Now, if you don't have the data, what you will do? Nothing. Now, many people say that, sir, we proposed, like titles come in front of us, a novel, secure routing methodology for sensor network. What methodology? What is the name? Suppose I'm interested with your paper and I want to use your paper that I can make a better protocol. What I will write your name? Khan et al. Bhardwaj et al. No, I need a name. So please, when you're making a new methodology or new thing, the name should be there. That should be taken as a base by other researchers that, okay, sir, I am comparing this with this protocol. I am comparing with this protocol. Okay, or this technique. So pay attention over there. Results, very important. And many people skip that. That, okay, sir, we have the graphs, we don't have the data. What data you have used in order to pull out that graph? And the data is gone. And conclusions. Conclusion, read it again. So with this, everybody, you should understand that in 1 hour, now second pass takes 1 hour. First pass takes 10 minutes. Second pass takes 1 hour. And after that, let me tell you, now you actually know what the paper is. Okay. Now you can understand that actually where we make the mistakes. Now where the diagrams are blurry. I will be telling you the technique. I will be telling you the tools on July 13 that what are the tools that I use in order to make the diagrams. That's why you can see my research papers. My diagrams are highly clear, 600 dpi. So the main thing is, even though you cannot understand the second pass, so try to relax, try to come again. Maybe that paper is okay, but maybe that paper is not useful. So most important thing is focus more on experimental results. And sometimes what people do, okay, sir, I proposed a protocol. I am testing on throughput. I'm testing on packet delivery. I'm testing on end-to-end delay. It's okay. We have the graphs. But what about the analysis? Okay, you proved it that, okay, sir, this one is AODV, this is this, and this is that. What is the analysis? How you can prove that your this protocol is better than which protocol in what percentage? So that's the reason, everybody, these are called silly mistakes. And these mistakes, and I'm saying it openly, everybody, that even I'm acting as an editor-in-chief of IJ Global Journal, people say us, that's a reject our paper. People say us, we don't want to reject the paper because the content is so pathetic and even it is so laggy, readability is a problem that we reject the papers. Otherwise, if you are having a good technique, novel technique, you are having less than 10% plagiarism, who is going to stop your paper if everything is okay? Latest review, good data, analysis, experimental system model, everything is there. Who is going to reject your paper? Ask yourself. So the paper can be poorly written. I agree with it because these days, as you can see, that most of I'm saying the name also, like open access journals and even with low impact factor journals of Elsevier or Springer or Taylor, they are publishing those papers in which nothing can be understood even with introduction. So please remove those papers. So the third pass, everybody. So please read this attention. And in this, let me tell you, the most important thing is in the third pass that you should carefully read what is being proposed. Yes. Now you have already know what is the title, what is the abstract, what is the keyword, what is introduction, and what is the conclusion. You know about first pass. Now you know about the second pass that, okay, sir, these are the experimentation, these are the data, these are the graphs. This is being done. Okay. Now what is being done? This is the high thing. Now, whether the proposed approach or whether the proposed work is matching to your thought or not. Now, if it is matching, this is your paper that you should write, sir. This is paper number 1. This is paper 2. This is paper number 3. So that's how we should read the paper. And to fully understand the paper, we should clearly clarify that whether the third pass is passed or not. So the third pass requires greater attention and you should understand every assumption. And again, I'm saying everybody that many people do data science works or machine learning works or experimental works, or even they do the work of that is called your simulation work. Please make assumptions because you're not doing a real-time work. You're doing some experimental and testing work. You're not making the real-time hardware. So boundaries are there in your experimental. So please write the assumptions that, okay, sir, our assumption is like because I'm the master of sensor network. So assumption is that all the nodes are having this much of battery value. All the nodes are static. This would be the basic routing protocol. Cluster head would be this much of things. So these are the assumptions that you're actually taking, and you're defining the environment and boundary, and then you're testing your proposed work. So this is important, everybody. And if you don't have this, maybe your paper will be thrown away, that it will not come to the third pass. And now you can understand, everybody, I'm saying it openly. Now you can think today that even if you have published a paper in SCA journal, maybe that paper could be a rubbish paper. Maybe it could be a best paper. So the things should improve with readability, and think like when you read the paper, when you're going to submission for the final paper after revisions of the reviewer, please think that whether you are able to pass this paper to the third pass or not. So that is what you have to think. So this I've already done. So the most important thing is to invest the right amount of time in a proper manner and collect as many papers, but find whether these papers go to first pass, second pass, or the final pass. So the conclusion is, it can take some few weeks to few months, or maybe you can say today that with this we can use your techniques, sir, that this is called the 3-pass approach to read the paper, and how to extract the valuable information, and how to think that whether the proposed work or whether the paper is matching to your paper or not. So work smarter, not harder. Set realistic goals, set the time to review, and take study breaks of 50 minutes. And most important thing is, reward yourself when you do something good. Take a time and a day. So reading is learning, and secure your future and earnings. So now I would like to take some questions right now. After that, I will be going towards my final stage, that is literature review. I will take a break for 2 minutes, then we will start. Tarana, we will take a break, beta, for 5 minutes. And please ask the participants if they have any question. They can write now on YouTube. I'm also on the on YouTube, because a good feedback is coming on YouTube. I can see that. If these people have any good question, they can write on YouTube, and I will be taking the question right now for the next 5 to 6 minutes. Thank you so much for please. Thank you so much for your feedback. I know that you are liking the lecture, but I would like to have some questions, and feedback can be shared later with the organizers. Thank you so much. Please give me some good questions. Tarana, any questions, beta? Voice. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Okay, so I got one question. Please mute this. I got a question, sir. How long and wide could be objective? So I've already told you that the objective should be straight and they should be simple to the point. So the first objective will be, what exactly is the problem that you are working? What is the analysis and what is the base ground of your study with regard to the particular problem? Like suppose, sir, to analyze the existing works as well as what is being performed with regard to what is being performed with, just a second, please. So what is the work being performed in with regard to what is the work that you're going to perform in your PhD? Second would be what you're going to propose, like a routing protocol. And third, what will be the experimental result that you can do? And fourth could be your comparison. So this would be the exact work that you're going to propose, in order to estimate that what you're going to propose and how you're going to undertake everything. So I hope Mr. Bijoy Chetri has got the answer. Okay. Any other question, please? Then we can start. Sir, some method of implementation not given full in the paper. So how to go to this paper? Yeah, that is an important aspect, everybody, that many people, I will be telling you how to write a paper, but sometimes even the implementation, you can say that it is not a proper manner, but sometimes the algorithm is also not there. So if you're making something good or you're proposing something, so please write your algorithm, you write your flowchart, steps of working, model, and then go for your steps of operation. So the answer for me for this type of paper is that either you can email that author that, okay, these are your questions. Like sometimes even I get the email that, sir, we are testing on this thing. Can you elaborate this answer? So we can do that. But if the paper is not, or the paper is not giving you any answer, or whether the author is not responding, so better you can go for the 2C approach, that you can reject that paper. Which journal I should start publishing? So that's a very broad question, actually. So I would like to recommend that please be aware of these predatory journals. And if you are a starter, so I would like to recommend all of you that you can start with some Springer or ACM conference. Then you can go with some Scopus Quarter 2 or Quarter 3 journal. And once you are efficient enough that I have 5 to 7 conference papers, 3 to 5 Scopus papers, then you should try for a good SCI journal, at least with Quarter 2, with a minimum 1.5 to 1.8 impact factor. That could be the answer. Okay, the next question is, I have a question regarding the grants. For international grants, they ask for cover letter, personal statement, and motivation letter. Actually, that's another myth, but cover letter is important. But apart from it, they request for your teaching statement and research statement. Along with that, they also require you some objectives that you are going to solve in terms of your research. So these are the most important, but depending on every grant, that can be different always. Okay. Sir, can you tell us the main difference between these three things? What's the perfect way to be writing? Actually, I will be telling this aspect on July 13, how to write the research paper. So wait for that July 13 lecture. Okay, how much part we can use in our paper from previous published paper, how much paper we can use in the review paper? Actually, that's an important question, because sometimes when you go to the conference and you can find the opportunity that, okay, sir, we need to find the extension to the paper. So what you can do, that you can extend your paper with some existing literature. You can add some more enhancement, like some 1 or 2 objectives you can update, or you can add some more experimental results. So that could be like a 30 to 40% enhancement in your paper, but don't change the core methodology, but you can enhance with 1 or 2 more features. That could be the defendable answer. Okay, sir, with regard to funding, can research on entrepreneurship get funding, or experimental research gets funding? Anything can get funding. If you are an entrepreneur, you are a startup, and if you want to make a company that, okay, sir, I have a cool idea now in the university, I want to start my own company as a drone consultant or as a blockchain consultant, anything can get the funding. But the main thing is those 6 questions, I'm again repeating, 6 questions should be answered in a perfect manner. I'm saying perfect manner. Okay. Sir, how to write PhD research proposal? Actually, this is not my part of topic in this presentation, but if I get the time on July 13, I will be discussing it for sure for that. Okay, which journals claim do have an impact factor, but how to ensure the impact factor? So if you are seeing my screen right now, let me tell you, you just go to this, that is called letpub.com. Okay, and there you can find, you can just search on Google, that is called letpub. Okay. Okay, so if you go to this letpub, and you can find that here is a journal name, and here you can find it's all H index, I index, and even the site score. So this is the answer, everybody. So this is the best thing that you can do in order to find the research methodology like that. Thank you. So Tarana, beta, I am starting with the final aspect of the lecture. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. You can start.
Is Dr. Arun Solanki with us?
Yes, sir. He is with us.
Okay. Sir, the 2 aspects are complete now. I'm going towards the 3rd aspect now for the today's lecture. Okay, everybody. Now, this is the important question for you to understand. Now, basically, let me demonstrate where we actually make the mistakes. Now, let us understand before you should go for literature view. Now, what is literature view? The first mistake that every people make is that it presents. The first answer is that your literature review should be written in the past tense. This is the first mistake that everybody makes. And this is the first thing that we actually check as a reviewer and even as an editor-in-chief, that what is the quality of literature view. So today because what is literature view? That is actually the work that has happened. So literature view should be in the past tense. Now the second mistake, which 90% know, almost every person don't even understand. Even I get some PhD thesis also, and I'm giving those PhD thesis with the comments that please sir, check this thing. You are the guide, and please check this mistake should not happen. So many people write ATL like this thing, ATL. Now this is wrong, everybody. This is wrong. Okay, the ATL should be written. This is wrong. So the ATL should be written like this way. This is the correct spelling. And I have seen many MTech people and even the PhD scholars that they make mistake in like this. Now the third mistake, which everybody makes. Now suppose there are two authors in the paper. I'm saying, like, suppose if there is a one author or second or two authors, let us take a paper that you are writing a literature view of a paper in which there are two authors. Suppose my name is there, Anand Nayar, and the second author is Arun Solanki. Now, these are the two authors. Now, how you will write the literature view? Many people will say Anand and Arun Solanki. They will use the first name itself. Now, these are the mistakes, everybody. First of all, learn the mistakes. Now, how you will write Nayar and Solanki? You should always use the last names. And in the bracket, you must type the reference number. And after that, you can say stated that, elaborated that, presented that. Because it is already published. It's a history. And you are taking this as a base paper, a base research in order to formulate a new research. So that's the main thing, everybody. So after that, now this is the third serious mistake now many people make. Now suppose I have a paper with the names Anand Nayar, Arun Solanki. We have the name called Tarana Singh. And we can have another person like Richa Jha. Now these are the four authors in the paper. Now people, what they make mistake, they will say Nayar and Nayar, Solanki, Singh and Jha will after that this. But if, let me tell you everybody, if the paper has more than two authors, okay, make it sure that you just take the first author last name and after that write at L. And after that write in the bracket. That's the perfect thing in order to make in order to write the literature review. And let me tell you, these 5 mistakes 90% people make. And we always give revisions to the paper and we always give revisions to the thesis also. So make sure that these mistakes should not happen first of all. And use these words only: elaborated, presented, proposed, contributed, analyzed. These are the 5 main words, everybody, in English that should be used in literature. Don't use any other word, because whole of the word of literature only works on these 5 words. And if you have the 3-pass approach, you already know what is actually in the paper after having second pass. Now you can understand that whether that paper is elaborative paper, he has elaborated something, presented something, proposed something, contributed something, or analyzed something. So these only the 5 English words, everybody, that you should only use in the literature. That's all. Now I'm coming to one serious issue, very serious issue I'm saying. And this is the main thing, that you should make your paper something looking different from another. Now after this, after you have written, and let me tell you, there is another thing. Now the things have changed today. If suppose you are writing a Springer paper or IEEE Access or IEEE paper or a conference paper, if suppose your paper is having limited length, like 7 pages, 8 pages, it is better that you can merge some literature or some basic part into introduction. But we always say introduction should be different, and after that you can make your related works and literature review. Okay, but if you're in a conference, you can avoid that. There is no problem. Okay, but if you're writing a Scopus paper, minimum, I'm saying, in order to get your paper accepted, minimum 8 to 15 papers must be there as the base papers. You must review them. And for SCI paper and for SCI or SCI or SCI journal or anything, minimum we recommend 15 to 20 papers that should be there. And literature review, like suppose I'm giving you the example, we are in year 2020. So don't, if the paper is utmost importance, I'm saying, even I've cited the papers of 1998 in my thesis also, but these are only 1 or 2 papers that are standard papers, no problems. Okay, but You are in 2020, so please base your literature view not less than 6 years, which means today if I'm writing a paper, I should be having literature view from 2014 to 2020. This is the main part. Understand this. Okay. And these people make mistakes. That's why I'm taking this literature view very seriously. This is the first thing that we check actually, that whether you have the capability to write the paper or not. Now, after that, most important, many people, what they do, after writing this literature and after writing the name, they start writing the name of the paper. No need to write the name of the paper. Just come. Now, let me tell you what is being there. Like suppose proposed. IEEMARP routing protocol. What is being proposed? What is the novelty in the paper? And after that, what conclusions are done? So please, these are the three aspects that should be written in the research paper. What analysis has been done? That, okay, sir, this person has done experimental study on NS2 and he concluded that his protocol is better than these protocols in overall 18%. And that's why this is called your second pass approach. And second pass approach is actually giving you the literature view. So now you should understand that making the literature view, it is not difficult. It is the most easy thing. This is in front of you. Just you have to use that information and to write in your own words that what is actually happening. That's the answer. Okay, everybody. Now see this. I've already told you. Now another thing. Please note it down. Now suppose you have written 15, 20 papers of literature after that. Now after that, before you go towards your proposed section, because after introduction, you will only go for the related works or literature view. Then you go for to your proposed methodology. I will be discussing on July 13. Don't worry about it. So I always give revisions to this aspect. That, okay, sir, I'm getting lots of papers for SCA journal. You can see my publons. I always give revisions to this aspect that please add this thing. Now, after literature, please write in 9 to 13 lines. 9 to 13 lines. What are the gaps that you have studied? That, okay, sir, from the above literature, it is concluded that most of the protocols are having security issues. And it has been observed that the throughput issue is there. And even the mobility and other things are having issues. What overall gaps that you have studied? So actually these gaps are basically acting as a motivation for you that now you are proposing something better than the existing works. So please write in 9 to 13 lines after you start with the section number C. That is your proposed work. Okay, so that's how actually, now let me tell you, now this is the perfect structure. This is the perfect structure. Now you can understand that how actually we should write the literature view. Very easy, very simple. You just have to take the second pass approach and you just have to give it a new form in your own words. That's all. And many people say, sir, literature view can give the plagiarism. It will give the plagiarism, but if you're copy pasting from the people papers. But if you're writing in your own paper that, okay, sir, this is the protocol being proposed and he analyzed and he did this and he concluded that. Naturally, you're writing in your own words. So naturally, it will not conflict with my research paper. The plagiarism will be less. Or the plagiarism will be low, I can say. Very, very low. But if you're copy pasting the same thing from abstract or conclusion, who's going to stop the plagiarism of your paper? And that's the reason, everybody, that many people have the myth that literature view increases the plagiarism. It is not increasing the plagiarism. It is just giving you the basic similarity that what is being used, the same information, technical information in as such in your paper. That cannot be reduced. You just can improve the language of that paper. Okay, everybody. Now you can understand how to actually write the literature view. And that is where we find the mistake. So please remember, please write in 9 to 13 lines, what are the gaps that you have studied overall, then go to your proposed work. I'm again repeating that this is where we give some minor revisions also. That's a paper. Please go back to the revision section and add something. This technical information is missing. Now see this, everybody. Now the most important part for the literature view is to gather the sources, focus on the topic, and read with a purpose. I've already told you the read with a purpose with one pass, second pass, and third pass approach. Now you can see what are the conclusions, that what is the conclusion being observed, that, okay, sir, in this paper, we propose this protocol and we have highlighted that this protocol is better than these protocols. What conclusions you have done, what is the opinion, and what are the gaps that have been studied. So let me tell you, the future scope is basically known as your technical gap that can be taken as a baseline. So that's what we have to do. And you can see In terms of organization, you have to find the theme, you have to find the methodology, you have to find the chronology. So most important thing is to how you can provide a summary of the findings of your literature review. So it can be historical, it can be disciplinary, it can be with a theme. So the most important thing you have to consider is how you are concluding your paper or concluding your literature in terms of the opinions, in terms of the proposed work, and what is being proposed actually in terms of the conclusion by the other authors. So that are actually known as the steps to write the literature review. So that's it for today. Now the house is all open for YouTube questions. All of you. Yeah. So is it always important to add graphs to your paper results and also the flowchart? Yes, it is very important to add the graphs and even the data. Even before adding the graphs, please everybody add the data, because the data is the area where you are actually using the graphs. I am plotting the graphs on some data. So if the data is not visible, how you can do that? And even with latest norms, if you're publishing the paper on data science, you have to upload your data set today on IEEE data port. You have to link your data set also. So these days, if you're just taking the simple data set, you're applying some methodology, you're doing some constructs in the work, that is not a research work. That is just a, you can say some child play. Okay, you can make a YouTube video for that, but not a research paper. So results are very important, and even the flowchart and the algorithm is very important. It has to be. That is called your implementation, that what exactly is being proposed and how it is actually working. Any other question?
All the participants may ask questions now. So there is another question over there in YouTube.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Sir, there are various forms of literature review paper. Will you highlight a few of them, please? Actually, if you are going for a good literature, I will be showing you the tools also. So if you want to go for literature, you can even write a good research paper like a systematic literature review. Okay, so literature review is just like adding the sections to your paper, that what are the papers that are taken and shortlisted by you in your 3-pass approach, and what are being highlighted by them, and this has taken as a base for you in order to propose your own methodology. So I've already told you over here. So what is being taken as a base? Okay. So remember my 5 English words, and what are the mistakes that people make in the literature. That's why I teach research methodology in a practical manner. I don't use slides much. Even when I'm going to teach you on July 13, I will be using this practical sheet only, so that you should understand and you can note that, because that's a perfect methodology to teach the research. Any other question, please? Okay. Will journal accept the survey paper or literature paper which is being summarized? Yes, they accept, but unless or until you have made some conclusions, the analysis, the comparison. So some people, what they do, they just make the literature, and after that they repeat with the table. No need to write the table. Okay, just give the analysis and just give the broad conclusion. And after that, you can make some case study or some contributions to the paper. Okay. The question comes, review paper from Asian computing surveys and review papers from IEEE look different from what we should follow. So I would like to recommend all of you that if you are going for some review paper, then IEEE communication survey is one of the biggest journal that is with 22 impact factor. And secondly, you can follow some aspects of IEEE access also in Asian computing surveys. So the only answer is that you have to follow the baseline literature and the baseline papers. So the methodology doesn't matter, the information matters. Okay, sir, what is the difference between LetPub and SciMago? LetPub is a better thing, everybody. LetPub is more reliable. SciMago only mostly focuses on Scopus, etc. But LetPub focus more on SCA journals. So LetPub will give you better information. LetPub will give you better information. Okay. Sir, for writing literature while using synonyms, will that be able to know what is the appropriate word? I'm sorry, I don't understand your question, please. Please write in a proper manner. Sir, there is restriction for the journals accepting review paper or any journal, especially for review papers. Yes, I totally agree with you that some journals have the restriction with review papers, but if your review paper is very good, let me tell you, then SCI journals, there are some SCI journals you can go for, like IEEE Access, you can go for IEEE Communication Survey, ACM Computing Surveys, then even like Wiley journals. So these type of journals, they usually take the literature view, but the only thing is that if you're going for literature view of sensor network today, who is going to give you a good opinion? But if you're going for like underwater sensor communications or like IoT in sensor communications, like something like or different or latest topic, then you can say that you are doing something gesture towards your literature view. Okay. ESCI or versus SCI. So that is the answer, everybody. If you talk of the broad term, that is ISI, we have the three categories: SCI, SCIE, and SSCI. Now there are some journals which are even ahead of Scopus, and after that we have ESCA journal, then we have Scopus. So there are some journals which are ahead of Scopus, like ESCA journal, but they are not right ISI journals, so that is called as ESCA journal. So ESCA journals have their own value and benefits. So if you are working for a good journal, it is better that your first choice could be SCI, then ESCA, then Scopus. Any other question? Tarana, we can take 2-3 questions more. That's all.
Yes, sure. If there are any questions, then it is okay.
I think we can even check the chat box also. Yeah, there are questions coming. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a good question. Is it better to start with survey paper? Yes, you have to start with the survey paper so that you can understand the domain knowledge of the subject. Start with the survey paper. Okay, but add something new. Latest information. That is what we can say. Yeah, that we will explaining you tools on July 13th. Yeah, I have a lecture on that.
Sir, there is another question on YouTube, that is, can you please explain bibliometric?
I have already told you that it's a part of the tools methodology. So on July 13th, I will be answering this question. I will be giving you some practical experience for that.
Yes.
Any other question, please? Feedback is okay. There is no problem. I'm looking for more questions, please, first of all. Please hurry up.
So there is a question, can a paper submitted to journal?
Latex format. Yeah, there are some journals that are having the format. They are having the mandatory format. So for that, you can use Overleaf. I will be telling you the tool on. So I would like to give you my email now.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, everybody. Here is my email ID. I hope everybody is seeing. This is my email ID. And if you want to talk to me, just talk to me on WhatsApp. You can message me on WhatsApp only. So WhatsApp is my Indian number. Don't call on this number because right now I'm in Vietnam, so I cannot attend this call. So my WhatsApp number is +91 9878 327635. So this is my WhatsApp number, everybody. So if you have any query or anything you want to talk to me or give me a message, you are most welcome. And the queries and everything is purely welcome. They are all welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Is consent required for online survey? Yeah. In some places, you need to have the consent. Yes. You have to have the consent. Okay, Tarana, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. What?
I've already answered this question from Sonia Simran. For submit a paper, is latex format is mandatory. For some journals, it is mandatory. But for I can say openly that if you are working on a transaction paper, then latex is mandatory. And even I'm organizing one special issue on SCP, that is Scalable Computing Practice and Experience. Latex is mandatory there. But in some journals, proper formatting and proper, you can say, word layout is proper important. So maintain your journal guidelines for author. Please read them before you submit the paper. Otherwise, the paper will return back to you that please format in proper manner. So have your instructions for authors. Please read before you submit the paper. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your valuable time and information that you shared with us today in this session. All the information is very valuable for all the research scholars and others. Thank you so much. All the... Excuse me?
Yes.
Sir, can I start?
Yeah, I'm giving some two answers today. What are the basic tools for writing the paper? I have told you that I will be discussing the tools for research paper writing at the first aspect on July 13. And formula and scientific terms never change in literature. So how can we limit the flexibility? You can just avoid formula writings from, you have to avoid the formula writing from literature review. On literature review, what is being proposed, what is the objective, and what are the conclusion drawn. This is only can be there. No need to write any diagram or formulas, please. No need. Remove that. No need to that.
Yes. Yes, sir. So can I start? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Conclude the session.
Yeah, I would like to conclude the session, but I think... so can I start concluding?
Yeah, sure. You can conclude. I'm giving my you can say this one, my WhatsApp ID and everything to the chat right now.
Yes, sir. So now I would like to conclude this session. That is, sir have covered all the information that is required to write a good grant. We surely have to answer all the 6 questions that sir told about us. We should be clear about objective outcomes of the writing a grant, and also the limitations and risks associated with the grants. Then sir discussed with the methodology of writing a good paper, reading a paper, and he suggested us that 3-phase technique of reading a research paper that will surely reduce the time consumption of all the researchers to read or understand the paper. And then sir discussed all the mistakes all the authors used to make while they are writing a literature review. Literature review is surely a very important part of a paper, and one should focus on the literature review in a more precise manner. So sir have told all that important aspects all the important words that should be used in the literature review, that is elaborated, presented, proposed, contributed, and analyzed. Thank you so much, sir, for your all the information, and we are very fortunate to get this opportunity to listen from you. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Tarana Singh, and I hope these tips and tricks will be benefited for all the researchers, as well as now we can understand that where we actually are making the mistakes, and these tips will be helping them to get away from this type of depression and you can say harassment. Okay. So more things will be discussed on the day 2 on July 13, and more practical works will be covered on July 13. More practical works.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
So thank you, Dr. Arun.
Thank you, sir.
Unmute.
Unmute.